whispered hub.
Do you find it hard to understand English without translating it to your native language? You're not alone. Many people struggle with this, but there's a better way. In this discussion, we'll learn how to understand English directly without the need for translation. Let's explore some helpful techniques together.
Language is the bridge that connects us to the world around us. Whether it's through conversation, written words, or even music, language enables us to communicate, understand, and connect with others. However, sometimes, when we encounter a language we're not familiar with, our instinct is to translate it into our mother tongue to grasp its meaning. But what if we challenged ourselves to break this habit and embrace a new way of understanding languages? When someone talks in a different language, we often translate it into our native language to make sense of it. But let's try something new starting today. Instead of translating, let's train ourselves to understand English directly. Can we give it a shot? Think about it like this: when you hear English, focus on understanding it without translating it into your mother tongue. It might take some practice, but it's worth a try. So are you up for the challenge? Consider this: when you're listening to me speak right now, you're likely grasping the main points I'm making. But let's think beyond just understanding the meaning. Why is English important, you may ask? Well, it's not just about understanding what's being said, it's also about understanding how the language is used. Here's the thing: when we listen to something for the first time, we mainly catch the meaning. But to truly improve our language skills, we need to focus on the language itself. That's why I encourage you to listen to the same English passage repeatedly. By doing so, you'll start to notice the patterns and nuances of the language. So, the next time you're practicing your listening skills, choose a passage and listen to it again and again until it becomes ingrained in your memory. It's through this repetition that you'll truly internalize the language and improve your English proficiency. Let's talk about something fascinating: the incredible capacity of our minds. Think of it like a supercomputer, but instead of being stored in a desktop or laptop, it's right up there in your head. And the best part? It's absolutely free. Now, let's talk about storage space. Unlike your typical computer, which might have a limit on its storage capacity, your mind has endless gigabytes of space. I mean, we're talking about a limitless amount here. You couldn't even count it if you tried. So what can you do with all that space? Well, the possibilities are endless, but let's focus on one thing: learning English. Just imagine all the files you could create in your mind for English language learning. It's like having your own personal library up there. Here's a simple yet powerful idea: start creating a special file in your mind dedicated to English listening. Make it a habit to listen to English every day and store those sounds and words in your mental file. The more you listen and repeat, the more firmly it'll stick in your mind. It's like building your own English library in your head. Let's talk about technology for a moment. Nowadays, we've got so much of it, right? But it wasn't like this 10 years ago. Back then, we didn't have all the gadgets and gizmos we do now. But today, thanks to our smartphones, we can do amazing things like recording audio. Just imagine, you're in class, and your teacher says something really useful. You can just take out your phone and hit record. That way, you can listen to it again and again, maybe even 10 times, to really understand it well. It's like having your own personal tutor right in your pocket. You know, when I go to my class, I see something amazing. Everyone's got their phones out ready to record the lesson. Then, when they get home, they listen to it all over again, maybe even 10 times. It's like magic how technology helps us learn languages. So, here's a tip: whenever you hear good English, why not record it on your phone? And hey, if you're into music, try recording some English songs too. Because the best way to learn a language is by getting into the rhythm of it. Now, let's talk about something interesting: imitation. You know, it's like copying someone else. Just like when a child repeats what they hear, we can do the same with English. So, let's be like those kids and imitate good English whenever we hear it. It's a fun and effective way to learn. Let's recap the two main points about listening. First, it's important to listen to well-spoken, accurate English. Second, listening to the same passage repeatedly can be incredibly helpful. Now, can you commit to doing this every day? It's not easy, but it's worth it. Here's a tip: if you're looking for quality English content, consider exploring speeches or audiobooks by renowned speakers like Nelson Mandela or Michelle Obama. And don't worry about spending a lot of money. You can often find affordable CDs or digital downloads online. Once you have your English content, try this technique: listen to just 5 minutes of it every day. But here's the trick: listen to those 5 minutes multiple times, maybe even 10 or 20 times. By doing this, you'll start to internalize the language and improve your English skills. Remember, learning a language is all about practice and repetition. So, focus on listening not just for the meaning, but also for the language itself. This approach will help you develop both fluency and accuracy in English. These days, we often come across English that isn't quite up to par. It's like when you go for job interviews and notice that even though candidates may have excellent qualifications on paper, they struggle to speak English fluently and accurately. They might sound impressive at first, but upon closer inspection, you notice mistakes in their speech. That's where improving your own language correctness comes in. Just like when you were taught English in school, you may have made mistakes. But now it's time to make a change. Imagine starting each day by dedicating some time to English practice, just like you do with your morning routine. Can you picture it? Think of it as a daily ritual, similar to starting your day with a motivational speech or meditation. Instead, you're focusing on improving your English skills. Remember the wise words of Krishna: whatever you do, do it efficiently. If you're aiming to make an impact, then you must learn effectively. So, let's make a commitment. Starting from today, set aside an hour every morning to listen to good quality English content. Listen attentively, repeatedly, and with a focus on improvement. By doing this, you're laying a solid foundation for your communication skills. Just like a sturdy foundation is essential for a tall building, listening is the cornerstone of effective communication. Now, let's talk about another crucial aspect: reading. You've been exposed to English throughout your life, right? I mean, who doesn't know their ABCs? We all know the English alphabet, don't we? So, why is it that we often neglect reading? Think about it. How often do you actually read things around you, like posters or signs? When was the last time you picked up a book and really dove into it? It's easy to let our eyes glaze over words without truly absorbing their meaning. But here's the thing: reading once isn't enough. To truly grasp a language, you need to read repeatedly. Let me give you an example. Have you ever read a book that's so beautifully written, it's like poetry? Well, that's the kind of book I'm talking about. You don't need to rely on a dictionary to expand your vocabulary. Instead, immerse yourself in well-written literature like the works of renowned authors. By reading and rereading passages, you'll not only understand the content but also internalize the language itself. Now, let's talk about making the most of your reading sessions. It's not just about understanding the words, it's about dissecting the language. Pay attention to sentence structure, grammar, and usage. This is where you'll truly refine your language skills. Remember, language proficiency isn't just about knowing the basics. It's about mastering the language to the point where you can express yourself fluently and accurately. So, whether you're aiming to excel in a global job market or simply want to broaden your horizons, investing in your English skills is key. Hence, what's essential for all of you is to establish a solid foundation for your English proficiency through both listening and reading. Now, you might think you've already listened and read enough in the past, but that's not sufficient. To truly excel, you need to elevate your practice. Imagine it like this: just as a sturdy building needs a strong foundation, your English skills require consistent reinforcement. So make a commitment to engage in daily listening and reading exercises. When it comes to reading, it's not just about skimming through texts. Take your time to read English material thoroughly, focusing on grammatical accuracy and punctuation. Don't rush through it or cut corners. Instead, aim for precision and clarity in your reading habits. Similarly, when listening to English content, pay attention to details like pronunciation, intonation, and language usage. Train your ear to pick up on nuances and patterns in speech. By actively engaging with both spoken and written English, you'll gradually refine your language skills and become more proficient. Remember, language learning is a continuous journey. It's not about reaching a destination but rather embracing the process of growth and improvement. So, keep listening, keep reading, and strive for excellence in every aspect of your English language journey.
Let's summarize the video in 10 key points.
Stop translating English into your mother tongue when listening. Try to understand English directly. Focus on listening for language rather than just meaning. Practice listening to English passages repeatedly to internalize language patterns. Utilize technology to record and listen to English content multiple times, aiding in language acquisition. Learn English through imitation, mimicking good English speakers to improve language skills. Regularly listen to high-quality English speeches or recordings to enhance language proficiency. Prioritize correctness in English language usage to avoid common mistakes and enhance communication skills. Incorporate English practice into your daily routine, treating it like a ritual similar to morning prayers or bathing. Reading is essential for language development. Read English materials repeatedly, focusing on language usage and sentence structure. Expand vocabulary and language skills through reading, using well-written texts like biographies or literature. Commit to consistent practice and improvement in English language skills to achieve success and broaden career opportunities.